all laid out. We're gonna go through and explain the components really briefly. Here we have our login page. Here's where they create an account. This is the default search page. This one, in our task, we have them search for eggs. So here's the search return for eggs. This is for 1% milk, which is another one of our tasks. Here we actually have a filter where if you press this button by the search bar, you get a filter where you can choose size and brand for the milk. Here we have, after it's filtered, just in case they do decide to use the filter, here is our cart once you've added 2 eggs, 1 milk. This is after you press compare prices, you come to this page, which tells you the store with the lowest total cost for all of your items. And then this is another page where you can edit your information in your account. I'm in a class called Human-Computer Interaction, and my team is working on a quarter-long project that will hopefully be beneficial to the Northwestern community. We found that budget-conscious people, especially students, want to find the lowest prices when grocery shopping. However, there is currently no effective way to compare prices across local stores. Our app seeks to fill this role specifically with local stores in Evanston. So just to be clear, this interview is not to test or judge your abilities. It is just to see how the average Northwesterner approaches this issue and how we could go about improving your app experience. Okay, so your first task is you just downloaded and opened the Cheap app, so create an account.
Okay.
Here you go.
Okay, I do the typing and then I create the account.
Cool. So, good job. You just completed an account. You are looking to buy 2 cartons of eggs. You do not care what brand they are. Additionally, you want to buy 1% milk, preferably half a gallon, and the brand Fairlife. Using the Cheap app, decide which store to shop at to spend the least amount of money on these items.
So I would search probably for Fairlife, and then I'm gonna add that to my cart.
Oh, yes. Good job.
I just need one, right?
Yes.
Okay, so then I'm gonna
Go
to search again, and I'm gonna search eggs.
Okay.
And I'm just finding the cheapest ones, yeah?
Yes.
Oh wait, I can also add here. Okay, I'll add that one. And I'm gonna add a second one, because I need 2.
Yes, good job.
I'm gonna go to cart.
Okay, cool.
And then compare prices. Interesting. I guess Whole Foods. Yeah.
Okay, so Whole Foods. Okay. Cool. It is a new year and you're living in a different place off campus, so change your address in your Cheap user profile.
I'm gonna go to the person button. I guess change my address. Right here, just click and delete type and save changes.
Okay. Good job. That was awesome.
So we saw that users, when told to create an account when they first entered the Cheap app, that was super easy and intuitive for them. They just clicked the button, which brought them to this page. They entered their information and clicked create account, and they were done. So very easy to do and intuitive for all of our users. We noticed that when we told them to add the cheapest eggs, instead of going with the generic option, they added the eggs with the lowest visible price instead of the generic option, either because they didn't understand the generic option or because they didn't realize that the generic option was something that they could choose. Their eyes just went right past it because it didn't look like another option. We also did notice that adding multiple items of something was very intuitive by just either pressing the plus or the minus. When we asked users to get 1% milk that was half gallon and Fairlife, instead of searching for 1% milk and then filtering for the size or brand after searching for 1% milk, they instead just added to their search string by saying 1% milk Fairlife or half gallon Fairlife or something along those lines. However, they still were able to find the milk and add. After users were done adding to their cart, cart, and they were told to go and find the store with the lowest price for all of their items. It was intuitive for them to click on the cart icon to go that way, so you navigate there. And then when they finally got to compare prices, for some users it was confusing. They didn't notice the all of your items versus missing one or more separation of categories. However, others did. So those that noticed the difference understood it and chose Target correctly, but those who didn't chose Whole Foods because they saw that as being the lowest visible price. So some resolutions we think we'll probably make based on these observations is we should make the generic option look more like a normal option, so it's very clear that it's something that you can choose. And since we won't be having a long name or description like some of the other products, we should use that space to have a succinct but effective description to explain what the generic option actually means. Also, we think we should offer an ability in the cart for a store to change the choice that Cheap made for the cheapest generic option for that store. So, if you add eggs to your cart, but then you go to Target and they've added large eggs and you want extra large, you could go and substitute right from there. Also, we think we should definitely still include the filter and potentially make it more obvious that it's there and when you're using it, but we should realize that because you can just easily add to a search string, it may not be utilized as much as we expect. And finally, when we are comparing prices across stores, I think if we make more of a separation between the stores with all of the items versus the stores that are missing items by making those headers a different color from the other store options, it'll be more clear and people will understand it more intuitively.